Hi guys, it's Ray here from Man City Fan TV. Well, I'm still on my hauls, got a couple of days left before heading back to London for the FA Cup semi-final against Brighton. In today's video we're going to do the preview of the Cardiff game at Etihad Stadium, and I'm joined today by Bethan, who's a big Cardiff fan, and big thanks to Bethan for taking the time to contribute to this video. And usual way, we're going to fire each other 5 questions and we'll give our video recorded answers.
I mean, I do like this first question, and to be honest, I take it as a massive compliment that we didn't seem to spend as much money in the summer as fellow promoted teams, but we seem to be doing relatively well. And I mean, I think, to be honest, I think that's credit to Neil Warnock in a sense. It's been frustrating at times as a fan when we've had some of the bigger teams come into the Cardiff City Stadium. It almost feels like we've been giving those teams, like yourselves and Man United, Spurs in particular, from what I can recall, we've been giving them too much respect. However, Neil Warnock is set up in a way to try and beat those teams around us. So beating Brighton at home, Wolves at home, Fulham at home, Southampton at home. I think that Burnley defeat at home could well be a very decisive game in terms of our survival. But, you know, we've been really excited about this season so far. We're back in blue, we're back in the Premier League. Our motto is City as one, and I think everyone has come together to support the boys who, week in, week out, I should add, put their body on the line and give it their all. And as a fan, you can't want anything more than that. So yes, money is important, but I also think that the gap in the Premier League between the top half of the table and the bottom half is rapidly increasing as a result of money, I would argue. But we're still at the races. It's April. I can't believe it. We are still at the races, and we could well survive. Got to keep our fingers crossed.
Okay, Bethan's first question. City are going for an amazing 4 trophies this season. Is there any that's a priority? Well, Bethan, to be honest, if you ask most older fans, most long-time City fans, we want to win the Premier League. We want to win it back-to-back. It's not been done for, I think, just over 10 years now. And I think it will help to cement this team and the achievements we had last year with that 100 points Centurions, and to win it back to back. I think really people will have to accept how good this team are. And on the one hand, you can say it shouldn't really matter what other people say, because we knew last season what an amazing achievement that was, but people don't want to give us a credit I think we deserve. But as fans as well, we want to win back-to-back titles. I think we'd turn around and say Premier League should be our bread and butter. You know, Champions League, it's a cup competition. You can see, for example, I mean, Real Madrid have struggled in the Spanish league, but they've been winning the Champions League. So, you know, they can build themselves up for a few games a season, but not throughout the whole season. And I think that's what we want. We want that consistent high level performance throughout the season. So for us, generally, it's the Premier League. Younger fans, newer fans, you know, they've seen us win the Premier League 3 times in 6 or 7 years. They want to kind of move on. And for the hierarchy too, for the owners, I think they want to win the Champions League. But as I said, for most fans, Premier League all day long.
So a nice straight to the point question there. Can you stay up? And I think, like I said previously, to go back to that first question, that we seem to be doing relatively well. You know, I very proudly say that. I've always said that as long as we stick at the races, give yourself a chance, then as a fan, that's all you can ask for. And Cardiff City could still survive the Premier League. Having said that, to be realistic, I think it's going to be tough. I think first and foremost, that Chelsea defeat, just awful day in terms of just feeling so hard done by. We really gave everything in that game, and unfortunately it, you know, for various reasons, just wasn't meant to be. And I think in comparison to other teams around us, they've got those results against some of the bigger teams, those who are still, I should say, in in the relegation scrap. I also think that the likes of Southampton and Burnley, they've experienced relegation scraps before, and I think that in terms of the mental capacity, I think they've been there, done that, and they have, as much as I don't like to say it, I would say they might have some more strength in depth than Cardiff, because we've thrown everything at this league and still in it, and still could survive. The Southampton games, we've beaten them away from home and at home, but we've now got Burnley away and Brighton away, and I mean, that's the season decided. If we can pick up points against Burnley and Brighton, then we continue to give ourselves a chance. But I think if we slip up against one of those teams, then unfortunately, as much as it pains me to say it, I think Cardiff City might and probably will take up that third relegation spot.
Bethan's second question, will Pep rotate the team for Cardiff, and how will he rotate it for the rest of the season? Well, I think he will rotate it for the game against Cardiff. We heard that Sergio Aguero is probably not going to take part. Straight away you've got Gabi Jesus playing, and we're fortunate at the moment, at this stage of the season, that a lot of our injured players are coming back. So Ben Mendy, you might see him out dancing in the club in Manchester on Saturday night. You might have seen that video circulating around, but he's just about ready to play. Fernandinho's back. You saw him, and he's been out for 6 or 8 weeks. He came back in the last game at Fulham for I think 15 minutes or so at the end of the game. Kevin De Bruyne came back for that game as well. So all our players are coming back. Danilo was I think fit again. Delp's fit again. So pretty much everybody's fit apart from Bravo, our goalkeeper, who's in effect third choice at the moment because we've got this kid Aro Muric as backup keeper. So everybody's back. So we are in a fortunate position, a great position to be able to rotate those players. So as I said, I can see some rotation tonight. We might see John Stones come back and play with Otamendi or with Laporte. We might even see Delph play at left back to give Zinchenko a break, ready for the weekend for the FA Cup semi-final. So I think that will go on for the rest of the season. We've got games every 3 or 4 days. We've got a game today, Saturday, 3 days away. We've got a game Tuesday, we got a game. The weekend on Sunday, and it's a massive break. Was it 5 days? We got a game. The midweek after that on the Wednesday, we've got United Derby. So we've got massive games coming up every 3 or 4 days, and Pep's got to keep rotating this team. Personally, I don't want to see him rotate more than 3 players per game, 2 or 3 players. You've got to keep the nucleus of the same team going forwards, and that's what I hope he does. And but it'll be very interesting to see how many changes he makes tonight, and then how many changes he makes going on for the rest of the season.
So the next question, it's been tough for Cardiff at times this season, and how has it been for us fans? And I still find it difficult to answer this question appropriately in one sense, because the pure tragedy of the incident involving Emiliano Sala and of course pilot David Ibbotson didn't just affect Cardiff City, it affected the football community as a whole, but most importantly it has affected the families, and so I guess I don't want to delve too much into that, but I think what it has made me realise as a fan is that as a football community, as a football fan, you will go and watch your team week in, week out, and you will get behind players, people, you get behind people that you would never meet, I guess, in a normal day-to-day meet and greet. But yet you get so passionate about these players who try and score goals for your clubs, try and win points for your club. And I think what the situation made me realise, at least, as a fan, is that football is just a game. And it has been difficult. It certainly has been difficult. But of course, my thoughts and the thoughts of Cardiff City fans go out to the family of both Emiliano Sala and David Ibbotson.
Okay, Bethan's third question. It's a massive win for Liverpool against Spurs at the weekend. And she's asking, how do I see the title race going and what advantages do City have? Well, Bethan, this is, you know, a very, very tight title race. It's probably the tightest for several years. And although City are favourites, and quite rightly so, anybody can still win it. You know, Liverpool have had a fabulous season. You can't take anything away from them. Yes, people can argue they've had a bit of luck with the refereeing decisions. Yes, they've had a bit of luck with last-minute goals. But we had luck last season. We had a few last-minute goals last season. And you can't deny other teams' luck when you've had it yourself. So, you know, if they win the league title this season, you've got to say, over the 38 games, it's fully deserved. I see it going to the wire. I can't see it any other way. I mean, there's not many games left this season, 6-7 games for each team, and so it's got to go to the wire with only you know, 1 point the difference at the moment. So what advantages do City have? I think mainly we've got two advantages. One, we've been there before, we've done it before, and we didn't fail before, even though we were up against it when we had to come from behind to beat United in 2012. We had to come from behind when it looked all lost to beat Liverpool in 2014, I think. And last season it was a procession, so we weren't under the same sort of pressure. And also, as I said earlier, we've got a lot of players who have come back from injury. We're pretty much at full strength. Pep can pick whoever he wants for the you know, hopefully for the rest of the season. You know, we've got a maximum of 14 games to go. Yes, the players are tired, but I think they've got the mental strength. Pep's drummed it into them, and if someone's injured or not clearly right with their attitude or whatever, Pep's got somebody else who'll come in. So we're in that very fortunate position right now to have basically two good players for every position, and if someone's not firing, someone's injured, someone's suspended, we've got somebody ready to come in. So as I said, it's going to go all the way to the end of the season. Yes, it's an advantage to City, but you can take nothing away from Liverpool if they win the league.
So, question on the manager now, Neil Warnock. Do you like that he gets under the skins of opposition fans? And I mean, in a game of sport, of course. You know, obviously, he's that type of Marmite figure. I find he actually reminds me of a very popular Cardiff boy, Craig Bellamy, who played for you guys at City and, of course, also Liverpool. And these types of characters, I guess, I would bring Ian Holloway into the mix. Cardiff lost to them 3-2 in the playoff final in 2010. These types of characters, they're not nice if they're not at your club. And I guess I've been on the opposite side of the fence, so to speak, when these characters like Warnock are at the likes of Leeds, for example. And yes, you absolutely hate them, and they seem to manage to get under the skins of opposition fans, myself included at previous times. But I guess with Cardiff, we've always liked to have a manager that will really dig in and really stand up for the team, stand up for the fans. At every game, especially when we win, Warnock will kind of, you know, reel in the fans and get the crowd going at the end, which is fantastic. There's a really good relationship between the fans and Warnock. I think as well, obviously the most recent controversy is not just the referee's decision in the game against Chelsea, but also Neil Warnock's reaction to the decision. And there's been reactions from either side. Was he being too aggressive, or was he standing up for his club? And as a fan, he spoke for all of us. I mean, we were absolutely devastated at the end of that result. 84 minutes to concede an equaliser in that fashion. He stood up for all of us, and he might be annoying, and of course he certainly galvanises a lot of media attention. But as a Cardiff City fan, I'm fully behind Neil Warnock, and in Warnock we trust.
Bethan's fourth question. How does Pep's football rate against previous managers, and is he a fan's favourite? Well, in that first season when we had Pep, you know, a few of the fans were worried because we started the season like a house on fire. I think we won the first 10 games or something quite ridiculous in all competitions, and then the wheels kind of fell off. And then we really struggled, and people say he's got no plan B. We did take some pastings. I think we got beat 4-2 at Leicester after being 4-0 down. We got battered by Everton 4-0 as well. So, you know, it was a bit of a concern, but we also knew that he didn't have the players he needed. We had aging fullbacks. We ended the season with Jesus Navas playing at right back. I mean, you know, when you're doing that, you know you've got problems. The football now is glorious. It's fantastic. It's, you know, as City fans say, it's basically the best football we've ever seen. And even though we've had teams in the past like Manuel Pellegrini's first season at City, I think we scored 156 goals across all competitions. We do look like we're going to beat that this season if we go far and deep in all competitions. So we are playing overall more. I think we're playing a more controlling level of football. I think we have better possession. I feel we create more chances without looking at any stats. And definitely Pep is a fan's favourite, because we, you know, and I say it many times, if you to City fans across the world, if you get a chance to come to watch City play live, take it, because Pep's not going to be here forever. And you know, this style of football, although the DNA is now into the club, when Pep's gone, it'll change. Look what happened at Barcelona. It changed when Pep went. The DNA, the kind of similar sort of football was played, but it wasn't the same, and it was on a lower level. Same at Bayern Munich. When Pep left, it dropped off, and you know, this season they've really struggled. You can see that, you know, the third season after Pep, they've really struggled to get back to the top of the Bundesliga, and they've only really done that because of Dortmund's kind of semi-implosion and you know, actually handing the opportunity back to Bayern Munich. So, you know, I look at when Pep's time has finished at City, I think the same will happen to us. So he's a real big favourite, and other people as well, the people who don't give him credit, maybe in 5 or 10 years back, they'll look back and say he was exceptional. He changed the Premier League, he changed the way we play football in this country, and it was great to have him, and it's a shame he's gone. So he's definitely a fan's favourite, definitely one of my favourite managers of all time.
And finally, a score prediction. I'm going to be ambitious here and go for Manchester City 3, Cardiff 1. I say ambitious because I would be delighted if we could score at the Etihad, but having said that, I mean, I think it's going to be kind of game, set, match, unfortunately. But of course, I do speak on behalf of lots of Cardiff fans. I saw on Twitter earlier that Sergio Aguero is out, so fingers crossed that won't make it double figures in terms of the score. But don't like to see anyone injured. But yeah, it's going to be a difficult away match for Cardiff, but we'll give it our all and keep the faith.
And Bethan's final question: what is my score prediction for the game? To be honest, Bethan, as hard as Cardiff might make this game, I think if we score early, I wouldn't say we'll batter you. I think if this had been earlier in the season, like the game at the Cardiff City Stadium, and we got an early goal or two, we'd batter you. But I think now, as we saw against Fulham, we got the 2 goals against them, and then we kind of went into training mode, controlled the game. We weren't busting the gut to score lots more goals, and that game actually was a bit flat in the second half, if you ask most of the fans who were there, who were watching on TV and who were actually at the ground. And I think it can be very similar against Cardiff. So my prediction is 3-0 to City. I think if we score a goal or 2 early, you'll kind of, I feel, shut up shop. You know, you'll kind of realise there's nothing left in the game for you. It's very hard for you to get a point. I don't think you'll give up. I don't think Neil Warnock will let you give up. But I think you'll accept what's going to happen, and I think we'll nick another goal in the second half. That's my hopeful way the game will go, because we don't want injuries, we don't want suspensions, we don't want players to tax themselves too much. So it's my hope that we get a couple of goals quite early, like we did against Fulham, and then kind of relax and coast the rest of the game. Once again, guys, I've got to say a big, massive thank you to Bethan for helping us with this video preview. It's an absolute pleasure to work with her. Go check her out on Twitter if you want, and hopefully, Bethan, you know, maybe you'll stay up this season, and maybe we can do it all again next season. See you around, Blues.